afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. You have Alyssa Quorum here, and I am joined by Ed Carson. We're, of course, going to break down the action for the major indexes, as well as a couple of interesting stocks. Ed, what do you have for us today?
Yes, Ali, today we're going to take a look at Corsair Gaming, which is breaking out of a new IPO base, JD.com, which flashed a bullish signal ahead of a breakout, and Tesla, which is consolidating just before earnings.
All right, perfect. First, a look at the major indexes. The NASDAQ breaking its streak of declines, gaining about 0.3% for the day. A slightly better day for the S&P 500, up about 0.5% on the session, and the Dow up 0.4%. So we did end the losing streak here, but what do you make of today's action?
Yeah, it wasn't that great. And because we closed near the session lows, not or certainly the afternoon lows. There seemed to be some news, around the time that the stimulus meeting between House Speaker Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, it came down, and it's not really clear why. It seemed like the news was somewhat positive, and I don't know. It didn't seem to change anything. But if you want to be positive or negative on the stimulus, you can always come up with a reason. So. I mean, it's what goes on from here. We found support at the 21-day line, so it's nice that we didn't fall below that. We need to get above that in the coming days. We're going to get stimulus. There's going to be earnings. In 2 weeks, we have the presidential election. So there's going to be a lot of things going on in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no doubt. There won't be a shortage of headlines for sure, but we'll see if some stocks can move higher out of a lot of these handles that we've been talking about. But elsewhere on the IPO front, you mentioned, Ed, we've been seeing some strength. So let's take a look at CRSR, Corsair Gaming. It's been one that we've talked about quite a bit on IBD Live, with that relative strength line hitting a new high as it breaks out of an IPO base. And we definitely want to keep an eye on IPOs because they have a lot of potential for big gains. They can be volatile, but some of them can really provide a boost to your portfolio.
Yeah, it's really impressive. The volume was really heavy. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's heavier than any day but the debut, which is really hard to beat for an IPO for the next few months. So really strong on that front. Relative strength is great. And then on the earnings, I mean, the earnings and sales, it's obviously recently turned profitable, or more seriously, really big gains. But that's sales growth. That's real, and that's 380 million. This is not like 5 million over 2 million. Mm-hmm. So all those things going on. Obviously, you have to be careful. The stock could easily pull back. We see that with a lot of IPOs. But the breakout was there. You could have argued that 2160, like sort of the top of the red areas, or like there, or there's a lot of areas where you could have jumped in. Yeah, right around there. But, definitely nice action. There's a lot of reasons to believe in this. This makes peripherals like keyboards and mice really geared toward the video gaming market. And it's an impressive little company here.
Yeah, it is. So we'll continue to watch it. I know we were also checking in on the intraday chart as well. We like looking at that when we're seeing these strong moves higher. So I think all in all, it closed right around in the middle of its range for the day, which is pretty good when you're up about 15%.
And when you consider the real range, consider where it gapped up from. I mean, it was still near the high of that real range because the price from 20. So pretty good action given the market.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And elsewhere. Oh, and also it was our stock of the day, right?
That's right. It was the stock of the day. You should definitely read about it to learn more about this company. So that's out today.
Yeah, so not only can you learn more about these companies with our stock of the day stories, but we're alerting our audience to some of these compelling, actionable ideas during the session, in addition to breaking them down here on this show after the close and in the first hour of trade on IBD Live. So lots of analysis for you there with actionable ideas. We also want to put JD.com on your radar, one of the top names out of China, working on a nice handle here, and very impressive to see this relative strength line hitting a new high before the stock breaks out to a new price high. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it does look very strong in that regard. It's moving higher. I mean, it's come off the lows of its handles while the NASDAQ is just sort of like near the end. It bounced off its 21-day convincingly last week. So we'll see. It needs to break out to do that. I mean, I suppose if you really want to be aggressive, you could do a downward handle, sloping trend line. I mean, there's been all sorts of things. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. And you could find a reason to jump in, but you want to get it to see it come out there because this is the real test. Can it get through that? And right now it's looking good. I guess with JD and Alibaba and Pinduoduo, which all got positive analyst comments today. There's the 11/11 shopping event, which is going to be getting into gear. So that's going to be coming into mind for all of these companies too.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll definitely keep a close watch on JD. And last but not least, we have to check in on Tesla ahead of its earnings report. It's pulling back to that 50-day line, declining about 2%, but volume is drying up a little bit. We'll have to see how the results shake out, but that could either be a catalyst and we may see somewhat of a breakout here, or a move lower could send it once again down to this 50-day line, which has so far contained this strong move. Ed, we know you've got some thoughts here.
Well, I mean, as I was saying, like I actually was saying off screen, like answering on IBD Live, I think the technical action was fine. I mean, look, it came down, it actually undercut the 10-week line intraday, and then it closed slightly above it. Which might worry you, but it also might provide an opportunity to add shares, but you have to wait until after earnings. I mean, and then it's going to get, because you could try buying an option, but those are going to be so expensive with Tesla. I mean, because it's likely to go up or down a lot. So just wait for that. And this is why, if you're going into earnings with a small gain or maybe a small loss because you bought when it tried to poke out last week, that's a dangerous position. You already might be down 5-6%. So, I mean, any kind of loss, then if it dropped 10%, you could be sitting on a big loss. And you just don't want to be in that situation. You're basically gambling. I'm betting on black, I'm betting on red, kind of thing, rather than heading into earnings. And that goes for just about any stock, but especially when it's as volatile as this, it may do great. We just don't know.
That's right. And you're indicating something that we talk about a lot, which is you want to have a decent cushion heading into earnings, which is why, we've been pointing out these other buy points for Tesla along this run, so if you bought at any of these areas, you're sitting pretty
Absolutely
for this report.
But I think one thing that's interesting is that GM did really well today because they continue to expand. They announced that they're going to convert a third plant for batteries for electric vehicles, and they're going to unveil the Hummer, the electric vehicle Hummer, tonight. And so it cleared that buy. We took that buy point, went right through the buy zone. The relative strength line's hitting like a 9-month high. Look, it's clearly not. It's got a lot of work to do, but there's momentum there. They're moving forward on their self-driving. They're pretty far along in there. Yeah, really nice volume. So there's a lot of interesting things going on there. So that could have been something that's weighing on Tesla a little bit. Who knows? I mean, the market maybe people just selling a little bit before earnings.
Yeah, but I also like GM seeing this turnaround, this expected turnaround in earnings next year. So we'll have to see. Tesla is gonna have an increasing amount of competition, even for the Cybertruck, it sounds like. So we'll keep tabs on that, and we will be keeping everyone up to date on the latest reaction for Tesla stock and all the other names that are on our radar that are set to report earnings in the next couple of weeks. There's quite a few of them, Ed.
That's right. A bunch tonight, a bunch tomorrow, and it just keeps on coming after that for the next several weeks.
Yeah. So make sure you are continuing to watch this show, as well as IBD Live in the mornings, our daily morning live stream, where our experts are sharing their screens, talking about actionable stocks and market conditions, we're getting a lot of questions right now. How to handle the portfolio into the election. We're continuing to remain flexible and follow the market's lead. So for an in-depth discussion on that and more, IBD Live is the place. We got your back. So go to investors.com/IBD Live for more details. Thanks for joining me, Ed, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.